In this video, I'll be explaining the formation of twins and whether they share the same placenta or not. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like my video, comment on my video. Now, I will be explaining how identical twins are formed. Identical twins are actually formed from a single fertilized egg cell or a zygote. What is a zygote? A zygote is a cell that is formed when an egg cell or a sperm cell fuse together or join together, and the process is called fertilization. So the identical twins are formed when these zygotes or a single fertilized egg cell splits into two, having the same genes or genetic makeup or genetic materials. Now, I would like to use a practical example to explain this or to make this explanation very clear. Imagine when you bake a big loaf of bread, but when the loaf of bread is rising in the oven, it splits into two smaller loaves. Do not forget, one big loaf of bread splitting into two smaller loaves. The two smaller loaves are from the same dough, that is from the same one big loaf of bread. Definitely, the two smaller loaves of bread will taste the same way, almost the same way, or they will even look alike. They will taste the same way, look alike. That is how identical twins are formed. A zygote splitting into two to form two babies that look alike, two babies having the same genes, having the same genetic material. One sperm cell, one egg cell fuse together to form a zygote, to form one fertilized egg cell. Then the one fertilized egg cell now splits into two to form two babies that are identical. That is what you call identical twins. Now, there is a question people often ask, which is, do identical twins share the same placenta? Now listen, identical twins may share the same placenta and they may not share the same placenta. This now depends on when the split occurs. That is when the fertilized egg will split. It depends on whether the identical twins will share the same placenta or not. It depends on when the fertilized egg cell or the zygote now splits. Now, if the fertilized egg cell or the zygote splits within the first 3 days of fertilization, do not forget, fertilization is when one sperm cell and one egg cell fuse together, join together to form a zygote. So if the zygote splits or the fertilized egg cell splits within the first 3 days of fertilization, the identical twins will definitely listen very well, they will definitely not go to have the same placenta. Why? Because they will attach themselves separately to the womb or to the uterus. So if they are going to attach themselves to the womb or to the uterus separately, they are definitely not going to have the same placenta. They will definitely form their own separate placenta, and also they are also going to have their own separate amniotic membrane. Now, before I move on with this video, with this teaching, what is an amniotic membrane? An amniotic membrane is a sac, is a membrane that is thin but very tough and transparent, which protects and also surrounds a developing embryo in the womb. It protects, it surrounds a developing embryo in the womb. It also prevents the baby from dehydration and also help the baby to maintain a constant temperature. That is amniotic membrane. It is this amniotic membrane or amniotic sac that usually breaks open when childbirth begins, which is commonly called water breaking. Now moving on the issue of whether identical twins share the same placenta or not. Do not forget that I've explained the first aspect, which is that if the fertilized egg cells splits within the first 3 days of fertilization or after fertilization, the identical twins will definitely not go to share the same placenta, because they will attach themselves separately to the linings, to the wombs, to the uterus. So they will definitely form their own separate placenta. So they will have different placenta, and at the same time they will have different amniotic membrane, which I have explained. Now let's look at what about when the split, the fertilized egg, happens between day 4 and day 8. If the fertilized egg splits between day 4 and day 8, the twins will have the same placenta. Do not forget, if the split occur, if the fertilized egg cell or the zygote split between day 4 and day 8, the twins will have the same placenta. They will share one placenta, but they will have different or separate amniotic membrane. Don't forget I've explained amniotic membrane. They will have different amniotic membrane. When the split happens between day 4 and day 8, the twins will have, the identical twins will have one placenta, the same placenta, but different amniotic membrane, that is separate amniotic membrane. What will happen when the split happens after day 8? If the fertilized egg cell splits after day 8, the identical twins will have the same placenta, one placenta and one amniotic membrane. Please listen very well. The same placenta and one amniotic membrane. Same placenta, one amniotic membrane. If the fertilized egg cell or the zygote splits after day 8, do not forget. Lest I forgot to talk about this. Identical twins are also called monozygotic twins. In my next video, I will be explaining the other type of twins, which is called fraternal twins. Please do not forget, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe.